Arriésgate y sígueme el juego. Sola, creo. Y a tus amigas hasta luego.
The Furious, or the 8th sequel of Fast and the Furious franchise. Here, F. Gary Gray has starred a lot of characters which would arouse interest when you actually go for the movie, but the chemistry of these characters didn't work out so well in the movie as expected. He starred Michelle Rodriguez, Dwayne Johnson, Vin Diesel, Nathalie Emmanuel, Tyrese Gibson, Scott Eastwood, and pretty old faces from the other sequels or the other movies of the franchise. Now, Dom in this movie goes up against his team, rather his family, which he values the most, because Charlize Theron, aka Cisfer, brings out a plan to finish her business by blackmailing Dom somehow, that you will see in the movie, and because of which Dom is forced to steal nuclear weapons, nuclear launch codes and EMPs and whatnot. What I didn't like about this movie is the way they exaggerated the car scenes, the action scenes, the other dumb scenes. Like for example, it moves. Even in the first race of Vin Diesel, when he does it in Havana, that is Cuba, he drives a car so fast that it catches fire. It's about to burn. Alright? He still drives it faster, that too in the reverse mode, jumps out of the car, wins the race, but not even a single scratch or a burnt mark on his face or on his body. And I'm like, what? That's like, I face palmed there like twice. Alright? Second is when Jason Statham got shot in the middle of the movie, and guess what? An ambulance comes in, injects something, and he's alive. He's back in the movie. Jason Statham, rock and roll, bro. He was still in the movie. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That's where you create spice. When Jason Statham died, that created a thrill. That created some emotional stuff, which the viewers, the visitors, the people liked more, rather than keeping Jason Statham alive, who comes back in the end of the movie, saves the infant and from the plane, which you'll see later in the movie. Again, in the Russian car scene, when Tyrese Gibson is out of his car, he goes deep inside the icy water. Ted saves him. He's on the ice without any cover. There are missiles, there are bullets firing out, and he gets no scratch on his body. And I'm like, again, what are these action scenes? Are you guys having shields around you? Because all the scenes where we have seen all the sequels of the franchise, Fast and the Furious, we know there no one's gonna die. Everyone's gonna end up being alive, right? So that's what makes it quite boring. That's what doesn't give it that thrilling experience which is needed in the franchise like Fast and the Furious, which disappoints me. Moving on to the best parts of the action scenes, Jason Statham really impressed me in this movie because of the comic relief which he got, which added a bit of charm into his character in this movie. His action scenes by far were the best in the movie, starting with Dwayne Johnson when he was in prison, and when he got out he had to fight the guards and the other prisoners to get out of the prison, which was pretty cool. And Dwayne Johnson really had that good charisma and a partnership with Jason Statham. That was the best part in the movie. Moving on to Tyrese Gibson did a pretty okay-ish role in this movie, giving it a comic relief. But I don't get the point that why is he still alive? Why is he still starred in this franchise? Because he literally had no job in the past two sequels. What he does is just chat, which still is nonsense. So I don't get the point. Let him die. That would at least give that awe effect in the movie, which would be better than him staying alive. Because if there's no role of the character in the team which is actually going for car scenes, who can't drive properly, who can't actually participate properly in the heats, then there's no point of such character. I don't get the point that why are they still starring Tyrese Gibson in the movie? Why is he still alive? Also, what I liked is the action scene of Jason Statham at the end of the movie. That was something like John Wick, dude. That gave it a really cool effect, but could have been more, more action, because John Wick is on the other level, but Jason Statham almost matched the level, which impressed me as well. Moving on to the dumb scenes, alright. Dwayne Johnson, as I said, the cheerleading stuff was completely nonsense and wasn't required in the movie. That spoiled the starting of the movie. Second thing, Charlize Theron aka Cisfer, to create a chaos in the NYC street to get the nuclear launch codes, she hacks into each and every car in the NYC street to create the chaos, to create traffic so that she could easily get the nuclear launch codes. And guess what? When the team comes in, when Tyrese Gibson, Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham surround Dom, who's actually stealing the launch codes, she doesn't apply her brain to hack into their car so that Dom could easily get out of the trap easily. Then what was that? That's just dumb. You could have done this job by far very easily, which could have given a better viewpoint to the other viewers, rather than creating that nonsense, bullshit, non-required action scene there where all the cars surround Dom. What are you creating? A family kind of emotional stuff which is not needed? Then please, F. Gary Gray, you should really work on it. Moving on to the ending of the movie. The villain, Charlize Theron, aka Cisfer, she takes on the parachute, jumps off the plane and vanishes, and guess what? No evidence of her in the movie. Then, I'm like, what? She's the woman who turned Dom against his family, the most valuable thing to him, and nothing happens to her. That's the dumbest thing I saw in the movie, and I facepalmed there thrice. And my neighbor was just giving me the look, what's going on with this dude? So that's why this movie was pretty vague, or like pretty like not the usual Fast and the Furious movie. Also, the villainish role performed by Charlize Theron was pretty okay. She had good looks, but she didn't quite match up to the level of Owen Shaw or Deckard Shaw, which was there in Fast and the Furious 6 and Fast and the Furious 7. Owen Shaw was by far the best villain we saw in the Fast and the Furious franchise, and no one did a pretty better job than him. So yeah, and in the end, when all of the characters come together, you know, celebrating their victory and, you know, getting Dom out of the trap and, you know, failing Charlize Theron's plan of bombing and stuff, I wish Paul Walker and his family could have come in the last, because that would have created much more better effect, right? So that was it. I gave this movie a concrete 7 on 10, and is a one-time watch movie because all it involves is insane gadgets, gravity-defying stunts, lot number of cars, bullets and fires and icy cool stuff in Russia, which made no point in the movie, but was a thrilling experience as usual. It's an entertainment movie if you watch it for once, but can't go watch it for like thrice or like 4 times or stuff. That's it. This is Cinegeek. Please like, comment and share. Signing off.